G'day Aussie Gridiron fans and welcome to the G'day Gridiron podcast, an NFL show brought to you by the Aussie Gridiron Network. This week on G'day Gridiron, we are going to do a May news roundup. Essentially, we haven't done any news for the entire month of May because we've been busy looking into some other fun and interesting topics in the NFL world, some deep dives, etc. So we thought we would jump in and we would take a look at those little bits and pieces of news we have missed along the way. There's some contracts, some extensions. There's some other news on players being very naughty, as well as taking a look at a little bit of the schedule stuff that I'm sure you've heard from other people before, but we are going to have a bit of a chat about it and tell you how excited we are for some of the season. Brad is here and Nick is here this evening to go through all of this with me. How are you going this evening, Brad?
Doing well. It's kind of one of those weird times when we're just in between major NFL events. So it's a good time that we can do this, kind of do a run around the league. But it seems odd in the life where the NFL dominates everything. That we don't have something major, so to speak, to talk about.
Yeah, it seems that way. We just get this odd little bits and pieces. But, I mean, there are a couple of big things that have happened in the past week or two. Nick, how you doing, mate?
Good. Like Brad said, it's a bit of that slowdown period, even across the board, with other sports and NBA playoffs getting towards the end. Still exciting time, but then I suppose all the other sports are sort of ending. So, so good to actually take a step back. You can actually focus on sort of the news that's happening and get up to speed with all that stuff. So, a bit of a slow time of year, but always keen to get back into it. So, itching for when we're actually doing previews and that again, just to get that itch back.
To prove to people how much we actually love the NFL and love football. We would rather meet and talk about the NFL than watch the currently what's happening right now, the State of Origin, which is there's a party in my house going on downstairs. But I'd rather be with you guys watching and talking about the contracts extensions and signings.
It's always a party here, Brad.
The Jets and the Browns right now. Now on our television.
Thursday night. I'll take the Thursday night football. Jets versus Browns.
Come on, give it to me.
Hey, the lights. I've turned the lights blue this evening.
Yeah, there we go. Nice. Yeah.
In honor of the Blues.
Well done.
Apparently, I should turn them maroon though, in honor of the fact that the Blues suck. Because yes, at this point in time when we are starting the podcast, it is currently 20-6 that the Blues are down. So good work, New South Wales. Doing well.
Queenslander! Sorry.
Isaac's at work. I'm sure he's trying to watch on a phone or something, just being sneaky.
Yeah.
Trying to watch the game.
Is.
There has been some other sport, though, that's wrapping up. NBA is getting down to the skinny. That's been... What a season that's been for the Knicks. Holy shit, that storyline is... I love storylines. You know how I love storylines in sport? Yeah. And the Knicks has been unbelievable. What's the other series at the moment? Oh, OKC.
Thunder and Spurs.
That's the real NBA final. To be honest with you, I think that's the one. Those are the two best teams in the league. The Knicks, I love them. I was a huge Knicks fan in the '90s. Massive. So it's So I there's nothing like New York when they're winning. It's absolutely phenomenal.
I must say, you're not on social media, but my favourite thing the last few weeks has just been every time that they win, just the interviews around Madison Square Garden and in New York. It's just they're just going mental. I actually think if they somehow pull off an upset in this final series, the Statue of Liberty will be in the water. It's mental. They had National Guard down there after they swept Cleveland, just at the watch party. It's insane. That city's going to be. It's going to become Gotham City if they somehow win it.
It might do. It very much might do. But it also would be fairly, like other New York franchises, it'd be fairly iconic of a New York team to essentially just fall over at that very last hurdle. Like face plant that last hurdle on the running track and someone go whiz past you to the to the finish line.
Well, they haven't won it. They haven't won the title since the 70s. So it's been a minute. So if they did somehow manage to win, Nick's not wrong. Place would go absolutely ballistic.
Because is it 11 or 12 straight games now that they've won to get to this point?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and their winning margin has been absolutely insane. So
I think they've only lost one game the entire playoffs.
I heard some weird story, and I don't know the validity of it. And obviously, it's not very. It won't be real true anyway, in the real sense of the word, depending on what you believe. But apparently, there was something happened. Someone put a curse on them, said that they'd put a curse on the Knicks, and they went on this losing streak. And then after the first loss, the last loss, they basically said, "Okay, I'm going to lift the curse." And since then, 12 straight.
Jeez. Well, I think if that's the case, I think every pro team has probably had something done like that. But it's because you heard about that with Boston and the Red Sox baseball and Chicago Cubs baseball as well and all that stuff. And exactly. So when Boston traded Babe Ruth, I think that's what it was to the Yankees. So it's ridiculous.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get into some NFL news. And I think first up this evening, we will jump into some contract extensions and some signings that have happened over the past couple of weeks. Let's start with the big one that happened just this week in a weird sort of sneaky situation. I heard about it on another NFL news program, and I went, huh, what? I must have missed that. Because even they were saying they missed that last week. They didn't talk about it because it dropped last week. And that is Matthew Stafford signed a 1-year, $55 million extension with the Los Angeles Rams, including a base of $40 million. So he is signed on for another year. I guess that gives them a little bit more certainty for this season in terms of who is going to be their starting quarterback. And obviously he is still playing at absolute MVP level. And with the addition of Ty Simpson now, it means that they do have a lot longer up their sleeve before they can have to make a decision on him or figure out which other way they're going. But never a bad thing for the Rams to get a contract extension over the line with Matt Stafford, Brad.
Except, I don't know if you've heard about this. This is the one that kind of tripped me out. Mike Florio reported it, and he's calling it a trap because essentially, this is what I'd never heard this aspect of it before, is the Rams can tear it up after 1 year if they decide that Ty Simpson, who is ready, Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback who is drafted at number 13, is the heir apparent, because the only thing that's guaranteed is the $5 million roster bonus at signing, but the rest of it doesn't lock in until the 2027 season. So basically,
it's not guaranteed.
Yeah,
right.
It's Stafford has this $55 million carrot dangled in front of him, but LA holds all the leverage. So, I wonder, is this like, is he given like a retirement discount? Is this the MVP tax? To me, it seems like he could have pushed for a multi-year deal, but he didn't. And I'm just wondering, does Stafford know something about his own body, or is he that in on winning the Super Bowl that he's just willing to play for $5 million? That was the interesting thing that I found. Credit to Mike Florio for talking about that.
Mate, if someone's going to dig up something to do with a contract or the nitty gritty or the fine print, it's going to be Mike Florio. Yeah, that guy loves it. Absolutely loves it. They've just gone through, what was it, Labor Day weekend over there or something, Brad?
Yep, Memorial Day.
Memorial Day weekend. Yeah.
Yep.
He posted every day up to 20 times a day over Memorial Day weekend. When everyone else has taken days off, Mike Florio was in his bag. What are you posting about? Like, honestly, but it's just...
Yeah. God bless America. That's what he's posting.
America. All right, another extension comes to the Detroit Lions linebacker Jack Campbell, who signed a 4-year, $81 million extension, keeps him at the Lions until 2030, and includes $20.25 million annually and over $50 million in total guarantees. That makes him the third ever linebacker, only the third ever linebacker to cross the $20 million annual mark.
Jeez. And can we name the other two?
Oh, come on. Why did you do that to me?
Yo, Nick, do you know one of them?
Fred Warner.
Yeah, Fred Warner. Good. Yep, that's one of them.
And I want to say Smith.
Yeah, very good. Roquan Smith. Very good.
Roquan Smith, yeah, surely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So those are the other two. So, I think the question is, does he deserve it? Because this is you're all in on this type of player, but he's a middle linebacker. Is this really where they want to spend their money? The Lions, obviously it is because they've done it, but are you getting good value? I don't know.
Well, they've spent a lot more, closer towards the trenches. Like they've spent on Penei Sewell, they've spent on Aiden Hutchinson. So I don't think they're sort of afraid to do that. It's more so, out wide. Like they've paid obviously St. Brown, quite a bit, and now Monty's gone. So you assume that Jimmy Gibbs is going to get a decent deal as well. But no, I think like he wouldn't be the sort of highest paid linebacker. I think it's probably about right though, because he has been quite good for them, particularly in the last sort of couple of years. No, I don't mind it at all.
I memean, they're keeping him, through their prime Super Bowl run. Like this is their window.
Yeah.
Is right now. So I get it. And they're like I say, they're keeping him in his prime years. Because they drafted him in 23. I don't know when you needed another edge rusher really bad. Is a middle linebacker that much of a difference maker? I don't think so, but then again, he obviously brings a lot of culture to that team, and I think their mindset, I'm hypothesizing, is they'd rather overpay for a guy they know what they're going to get than somebody else coming in and is he going to fit in that type of situation.
They also may not be overpaying now too, though, Brad. It could be get ahead of it before other deals are done. That kind of situation.
What is essentially this what are you talking about? Get ahead of it. I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't understand what you're referring to. It's
what good franchises do, Brad.
What?
Competent franchises.
Stop.
It's you derailed me.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Essentially, this contract came off the back of them officially denying not picking up his 5th-year option, but that was because they were trying to work out this contract with him. So as you said, they did draft him. He's been there since 2023, and now he'll be there for quite a number of years going forward.
Yeah.
Someone else we are going to see next year on an NFL field, and specifically in Pittsburgh. Thank God Aaron Rodgers has signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. A one-year $25 million contract, which stuns me, to be honest, that he could still command that much money, given the grief that he puts a franchise through.
Yeah.
He has also stated, and let's just take this with a grain of salt, since it is Aaron Rodgers, that he plans to retire at the end of this coming season.
Okay, so...
Allegedly.
Yeah. Do we think he's going to make it through the whole season? I mean...
I would assume so. I think he did last season. And he did the season before. So I don't think it's a question of sort of health. I mean, he was playing at, considering his age, at a somewhat serviceable level. My thing that gets me is that they put this tender on him that pretty much restricted what his options were in terms of moving to another team and not getting more money. And then somehow he ended up getting an extra 10 mil on top of what he earned last year or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which so how does that make sense?
And this was my point, Nick. This was my exact point.
Yes, exactly.
I don't understand it. I don't understand.
How is it that a guy who gets to the playoffs and in that playoff game he goes 17 for 33, 146 yards, 0 touchdowns, and he gets a $9 million pay raise? And really, let's be honest. Are they going to get out of the divisional round? Are they going to get out of the wild card
Are they going to
round?
be better than 8-9 or 9-8, Brad?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the big question. Does Rodgers give them the ability to be better than 8-9 or 9-8? Not theoretically, in practical sense. And what gets me is exactly what Nick mentioned: is they put this tender on him so he couldn't negotiate a better contract with other teams. So they were essentially had him held at last year's number, which they could have had. Why not? You can't tell me. I mean, I know you're going in with a quarterback room that features Mason Rudolph, Drew Aller, and Will Howard. Yeah. But you've got those three guys. Why can you not hold him to less than what he just asked for?
I think that shows you how desperate they wanted him. Because
Are they that desperate? It's a franchise that is destined to finish 8-9 or 9-8. It doesn't matter who the coach is.
Well, this is the epitome of, hey, let's get the band back together. But we're gonna stroll out there with our walkers and all that. Because obviously, I think Mike McCarthy just said, no, we have to have him. I don't know. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense.
It's also a franchise that could be better spending $10 million somewhere else on their roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Rodgers is old enough and smart enough to know that. And if you want to succeed in your last year, what is theoretically your last year in the NFL, then surely you go out there and say, I'll take that pay cut as long as you're going to spend it on a better wide receiver. Yeah,
right. Yeah, you do the Matthew Stafford thing. But I think we know Aaron Rodgers enough to know that Aaron Rodgers is about Aaron Rodgers.
Apparently, ayahuasca is expensive.
Yes.
Must be. 10 million more expensive.
Yeah.
10 million is more expensive. All right, let's move on to another contract extension. The Chargers gave an extension to safety Derwin James. 3 years, $75.6 million extension to be exact. This now makes him the NFL's highest paid safety.
This is the second time he's been the highest paid safety. So he replaces Kyle Hamilton, who got it for... So what, Kyle was getting 25.1, and now what, James, 25.2?
Was it Hamilton? I thought it was Winfield. Antoine Winfield.
I think it's Hamilton. Somebody needs to fact check us on this one. But the odd thing that this is just an interesting stat that I came across when I was researching about this, is that Derwin James is making more than Tom Brady ever made in a single season. That to me is a significant stat. That shows you just in because Tom Brady's hasn't been out of the league that long, but the fact that a safety is making more than Tom Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback ever, has made, that just blows me away and shows you how big the NFL is becoming.
It does. All right, one final contract extension of note that came up in the last few weeks, and it was quite a few weeks ago now. The Miami Dolphins gave a big bag to Devon Achane, their running back, their star running back. 4 years, $64 million extension, which includes $27.37 million guaranteed, makes him the third highest paid running back. But what is significant, apart from the fact that Achane is now going to be at the Dolphins for 4 more years and really solidifying a direction for their offense, which was directionless, is that this deal will mean a lot for other running backs that are coming up to contract points, notably Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs, who must be laughing and absolutely rubbing their hands together.
Yeah, because their fifth-year options got punched by their teams. So, but Bijan's getting like 11 million and Gibbs is getting 14 million.
Yeah.
And, so they're not, it's not like they're getting paid a pittance, but you're right. When it comes to their time, they're just rubbing their hands saying yes please, because it wasn't too long ago where he said the running backs are dead, nobody's getting paid, and it's pretty obvious the NFL probably colluded against running backs. But now we're seeing, Saquon, McCaffrey, these guys, some people, those top guys, Jonathan Taylor, they're getting paid now.
Those yeah, but those two will both want to be holding out for each other to sign their deal first, and
Yeah.
then both clubs will be wanting to get those done first so that they don't overpay for the others. So they'll both
Yeah.
reset the market. You're 100% right with that. They'll both reset the market, particularly this year now because no Monty at Detroit, so
Mm.
now Gibbs has
Mm-hmm.
taken the larger share of the pie.
And no Algier in Atlanta. So,
Mm.
but you got to wonder, in Miami's situation, does paying a running back 16 million, like, because it's not as if this is going to put you over the edge.
Who else are
So,
they paying? Doesn't really.
well, yeah, right,
They don't have
exactly.
Tyreek Hill anymore. They don't have Jalen
Waddle,
Waddle anymore. I suppose Tua's still got the dead money on the books, but
yeah.
after a couple of years, that'll be gone. So
Hmm.
I suppose they're in rebuild mode anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. All right. Speaking of fifth-year options, or maybe not, there's a couple of players from that 2023 class that have had their fifth-year options denied by their teams. Most obviously, the obvious one and the one at the top of the tree, Anthony Richardson. The Colts denied his fifth-year option. We've seen a lot of
Take me out. Take me out. I got to come out.
we've seen a very tumultuous time from Anthony Richardson's career so far at the Colts. This is not a shock at all that they wouldn't pick up his fifth-year option because that would be worth quite a lot for a quarterback specifically. The Saints decided not to take up Tyree Wilson's edge rusher Tyree Wilson's fifth-year option, which was interesting. He came across to the Saints in a trade from the Raiders, so they've decided that he is essentially going to be one and done with the Saints unless they come to a deal somewhere at the end of the season. And then the most interesting and the most notable one of those is Bengals edge rusher Miles Murphy, who the Bengals have done, I think, what everybody expects the Bengals to do, and said, we're not going to take up your fifth-year option. So, obviously, Miles Murphy is next in line for the Trey Hendrickson experience of one-year deals from the Cincinnati Bengals.
He's crap. We talked about him last week with our Bengals interview with the international fan of the year, and yeah, he hasn't produced at all. So this is it, and I wouldn't have extended him even my middle finger, let alone giving him that much money.
Jeez.
It's a bit harsh, Brad.
Yeah, sorry. Miles, come find me if you want.
Nearly every single other first round pick from the 2023 NFL draft has had their fifth year option picked up, or just like we spoke about earlier with Jack Campbell, has already negotiated a new contract. So out of 32, only 3. 3 most obvious, probably, though. All right, moving on. Some other bits and pieces of news. A few players that have found themselves in trouble with the law. Just today in the NFL news, Packers running back Josh Jacobs has been arrested on 5 felony charges. Good Lord. It's all of the bad stuff too. Battery, domestic abuse, criminal damage to properties, disorderly conduct, strangulation, suffocation, and intimidation of a victim. Obviously, Jacobs has denied all of the allegations. Not a good thing, Nick, for the Packers running back room right now, who is looking very, very thin without a Josh Jacobs.
It's quite an extensive list of charges.
It is.
That's insane. Yeah, and considering it's obviously a very serious one, so yeah, they'll be sitting tight. The Packers for sure, and LaFleur for sure. But yeah, we'll have to see how that unfolds because that's not just like a one-off thing like you've seen in sort of other players. Maybe it's like a DUI or something like that. Like there's multiple sort of charges, so it's gonna be pretty ugly if it's real serious.
Yeah, you know the NFL is going to open up a conduct, investigation into this, and it's not going to be good, and he's probably going to be suspended. So it's a horrible situation all around.
Eagles linebacker Nolan Smith Jr. was arrested on Friday and accused of speeding and reckless driving in Georgia. He was clocked doing 135 mile an hour in a 70 mile an hour zone on the interstate at 10:41 p.m., a representative said. What the hell is wrong with these kids and speeding?
It's just ridiculous.
Do they all need? Do they need a bit of a visit from a fellow felon from the Raiders, maybe?
Yeah.
Who's actually apparently getting out very soon. He's going to be out on parole quite soon. Yeah,
getting out? No way.
And that's how long it's been,
right.
Brad. But I feel Nick, that's how long it's been. But I feel like some of these NFL teams need Ruggs to come around to the facility and talk to these kids about why you don't do this shit.
Jeez. Yeah, no kidding. Nolan Smith, he runs a 4.39 at the combine, fast. But he could drive 135 miles down the highway. That's even faster. It's just an idiot. That's how you're gonna kill somebody. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for that guy.
He's not he's the latest Georgia player too to be arrested for driving offences. Jalen Carter was given 12 months probation after pleading no contest to misdemeanor charges of reckless driving and racing. And that was related to a crash where two people were killed. So it's, yeah. And there are multiple other Georgia players from the two teams that Smith played in who have all been charged of similar speeding offences.
Jeez. Yeah, that's horrible.
And speaking of car accidents, and this is the horrible part, the Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice ordered to serve 30 days in jail for violating his probation after testing positive to marijuana. Rashee Rice really got off kind of easy from a 2024 car accident, which this all stems from, where he was given a suspended 5-year sentence but ordered to serve 30 days in jail at any point where he was capable, is what the judge could do it. He could choose when he could spend that 30 days, but any point when he was capable. And then only a couple of weeks later after that that determination by a judge, he then tested positive for marijuana, which violated his probation and that probation order, which means that he had to immediately go to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, Rashee Rice, because you're going to be there for a month, which means you're also going to miss OTAs and minicamp and have possibly just stamped whatever death warrant there is on your Chiefs contract.
Is weed that important to these guys? I mean, seriously, unless he...
They're going to relax, Brad. They're going to relax this time of year.
That's right. It's, I'm not here to get into a debate about weed, but really, is it worth just saying, oh yeah, if I get caught 30 days in jail, so what?
At least do it in a state where it's legal. Like,
well,
they've got enough money.
It'd still be a violation of his probation.
Because it's
on his probation.
Yeah, true.
But it's I don't want to get in a debate about weed either. And technically, it was THC that he tested positive to, so it wasn't necessarily smoking cannabis. It could have just been gummies because THC gummies are quite legal. But in the States now, where it is quite legal in a lot of states and in a lot of different ways and forms, there's this I don't know, there's this thought pattern amongst, I guess, some of the younger generation now, whereas it's not a bad thing, but not understanding, people like Rashid Rice obviously not understanding that it is written as something that you cannot do as part of your probation.
Yeah, and
I love
and to top that off, he's also getting sued by his ex-girlfriend as well on a separate charge. So the dude just has obviously some common sense issues.
I love that the first sentence was he gets 30 days when he's able to serve them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, you just come up and say, "Oh, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. Come back
Yeah.
in another year or so.
Yeah.
I'll see if I'm ready." Like, what are we talking about?
yeah.
And that's what I mean, Nick. And that's what I mean, Nick, is that he got off quite lightly.
Yeah, he totally did. Yeah. Let me just go have my meal at the Piggly Wiggly, and then once I'm done with that, then I'll go.
Come back in about 50 years. I'll see if
Yeah.
I'm ready then.
Yeah.
He got 5-year suspended sentence and he only had to serve 30 days when he was capable.
Golly.
It's just unreal. Absolutely unreal. One of the weirder situations to come out over the last couple of months is an interesting situation with Texas Tech QB Brendan Sorsby, who essentially Sorsby has a gambling addiction, and the school announced this a couple of weeks ago, end of April, basically, that Sorsby had self-reported in a way and said, "I have a gambling addiction," and they did an investigation to see how deep that went. And then all of a sudden, because in college sports, the guidelines say that there is absolutely no betting on any college football or any college sports at all. Then they suspended him from all college sports. So suddenly, a Heisman hopeful for a college football playoff contender is in the headlines for being investigated for gambling-related issues, even though he put his hand up and said, "I have a gambling addiction and I need some help." NCAA just yesterday has basically denied his request to be reinstated for the season, for 2026 college season. He has a court date for June 1st to take the NCAA to court, essentially, to try and reinstate him for all of or part thereof of the season, as well as some other interesting things that his team have put their hands up and said he's willing to do these things to be able to be reinstated. But very interesting. Obviously, we have promoted gambling before. We do a little bit of gambling. We do small amounts of gambling, and we always talk about the fact that you bet within your means. Don't overdo yourself. Don't leave your family without food. Don't pay for all these things beforehand. Pay for car insurance. Pay for your house. Pay for your food. Do all these sort of things before you go playing around with money that you can't afford. And we are very adamant about that. We don't bet much. We bet for the fun of it, basically the thrill of it, just to go that we are right. We bet very, very little. I will tell you that right now. And Sorsby did as well. So some of his bets were typically small in value, ranging from only $1 to $50. But a lot of them were on college sports specifically.
To me, this is sad because, gambling addiction is recognized as a clinical disorder. And this is the case of the NCAA always looking like idiots. If you ask me, they just, whenever you think that they can't make themselves look any worse, they do. You've got a kid who's obviously got an addiction. He goes through rehab. He sought help on his own. He goes through rehab. He has the university behind him. The president writes a letter endorsing him, and you shut the door days before this deadline, for the supplemental draft and all this. And it smacks of insensitivity. And apparently in the lawsuit that Texas Tech brought against them. They talk about how the NCAA, in their hypocrisy, claim that they have a culture of care and all this and that, and BS. They just care about their image. They don't care about the actual people.
Some of the funny thing about the bets that he placed was they talk about can't bet on college sports. The college sport bets that he found were related to 2022 season when he was part of the Indiana Hoosiers. He was redshirted that entire year. He was actually like third QB, so he wasn't going to see the field at all. He placed bets on the Hoosiers to win, placed statistical prop bets on his own teammates whilst he was sitting on the sideline. And now, of course, it's against the rules to bet on college sports, but that's what he did, and it was hardly bet. It's not like he was betting against his team, so that's a good thing. But he was betting for them and saying that they would do better than that. Some of the other sports that he bets on and stuff that he really did love to bet on, because they found quite a lot of like sort of $1 to $5 bets on a lot of these things. Just a wide variety of obscure and major sporting events, including Turkish basketball, Romanian soccer, and pitch-by-pitch wagers at live baseball games.
That's how you know you've got an addiction. When you're betting on Turkish soccer or Turkish whatever basketball.
Turkish basketball.
Yeah, that's just you've got an issue there. It's
even
just,
the live betting. Betting. Like, imagine
live
just being
betting.
at a ball game, just calling up and saying, "Oh, Tiny's going to hit the next home run.
Yeah.
Put it down. Put me down for 50."
It's got to be a ball. It's got to be a strike.
Pitch by pitch, just sitting in the stands with a beer and a hot dog.
I'm going to catch this foul ball.
Just go on, next one, foul ball.
Gee whiz. But the interesting thing through all this is, so he's got this June 1 injunction, and if that hearing, if that fails, and then the appeal doesn't happen before June 22nd, he goes into the NFL supplemental draft. And, like you said, Ian, we're talking to a guy that was potentially touted as a Heisman. Is a team going to take a gamble, pun intended? Are they going to take a gamble on him and draft him?
Well, I mean, essentially, he hasn't violated NFL gambling rules at all, because the NFL gambling rules are a little bit more lenient in that you can't bet within the facility and you can't bet on the NFL. So you can bet on other things. You can do all that, but you can't do those two things. He is a Heisman hopeful. He completed like 60-odd% of his passes last year, like 27 touchdowns for Texas Tech. And hence why he was a Heisman hopeful for this coming season. And he would have been in the 2027 NFL draft, which is going to be a massive one, especially for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it does look like, yes, if it all goes, if the court date on June 1st goes the wrong way, then he has until June 22nd to essentially put his name down for the supplemental draft. I reckon some teams might chuck some supplemental. Like, you think about it, Brad. You would use a supplemental pick on a future quarterback for your team, like a future franchise quarterback.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't get better value than that. That's better value than what we talked about with Brock Purdy a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it depends on when. Like, I guess the Browns would probably spend a first round pick on him. But
yes, the Browns would add a sixth QB to their quarterback room.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'd be the best one.
You can imagine a team going out and taking a punt on him with a supplemental pick, and then next year, like not this season, but next season, he starts for a team like Purdy did, and then all of a sudden, taking a team to playoff football. How dumb are those curmudgeons at the NCAA going to look after that?
Well, if somebody will draft him. If he
100%, he would be 100% draft.
He'll get drafted in that supplemental draft. If he drops, past third round, or that's exactly the type of player that Jerry Jones would take. I guarantee you, just for the pure buzz. If he could get the guy for a fourth, fifth round pick, he'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Could just imagine some of these teams where they've got maybe a veteran quarterback who might be coming up to sort of an end of, I wanted to say end of life then, but that was the wrong term. Like an end of career arc. And you take a punt on a guy that is in a supplemental, and you could still sign him year after year for league minimum because he's not a draft pick. So there's only league minimum.
And I think we mentioned one of the teams that would I think should seriously consider it, Pittsburgh Steelers. You've got a guy who's one and done. So why not? And you've got a coach who fancies himself and who has shown a great track record with quarterbacks.
Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona. So there's lots of teams out there that could benefit from taking a flyer on him. It's just how high are they willing to go?
Jets.
That's right. The Jets. There's lots. All right. Speaking of NFL drafts, the Super Bowl and NFL draft locations have been announced for the next set of those massive events. Super Bowl 64 will be held in the new Nashville Nissan Stadium in 2030. And as we talked a little bit about last week and joked about with Brad and Adrian on last week's podcast, 2028 NFL Draft will be held in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So, two massive things. So that leaves us with now the next set of Super Bowls. We will be at SoFi Stadium for 2027. We'll be in Atlanta 2028. We'll be in Las Vegas 2029, and now Nashville, Tennessee in 2030. The NFL drafts, one of which I would love to be able to go to, will be held Washington, D.C. next year, and then Minneapolis in 2028.
That's wild, man. You know what? 2028, you are the International Fan of the Year, and you and I are going.
Okay, fingers crossed, Brad. I'm going to work towards it. We're going to get there.
That's right. We got to get Manjot or 49er Fan of the Year this next season. So.
Yeah, we do. Absolutely, we do. Maybe by 2028, I'll be allowed to enter the country as well.
Yeah, we'll have a new presidency. You'll be back. You can't keep me out. So.
No, you're an American, so it's easier for you. You'd be walking straight on through a different line while I'll be getting held up for 8 hours and sent home.
He's with me.
Bye.
You'll get the free ticket to the draft still.
I love it.
And whilst we're on that, NFL owners have approved playing up to 10 international games beyond this 2026 season. That increases the maximum number of league-run international games from 8 to 10. The maximum does not include the Jags run a game in London because that's their own run and not a league-run thing. Teams also, with this, will no longer be able to protect specific home games from being moved internationally, and that came out of the latest owners' meeting. So
I think they're trying to endorse more divisional games played internationally. Yeah. That's what that sounds like to me.
They know that. Oh, by the way, everybody, I'm doing this shoot, as you can see, from my prison room, with my bag. Apologies for that. We're in the middle of remodeling, so you can tell they're definitely wanting to pump legitimate good games for these internationals, as we are privy to. Nick will do a live report from the MCG with a very, very important week 1 game.
Well, what this also means, though, is it is definitely setting us up for that 18-game season that they have alluded that they would like to get to. 18 games, I think they said 2 bye weeks, so more international games. So that's at least, I think it's every single team plays internationally once every season, and a couple of bye weeks. And what that also then basically says, Brad, and the fact that the 2029 Super Bowl in Las Vegas doesn't yet have a fixed date, it means that we may see the NFL season, the whole thing, pushed back 1 week which means that the Super Bowl ends up on what weekend? The Sunday of what weekend, Brad?
President's Day?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we are talking.
So you see where we're getting to now. So every single team is going to play. This is what their hope is, and I'm not saying that this has been a big talk for a while. Is the NFL's hope is that every single team plays internationally once every season, and that it's an 18-game schedule because they seem to think that 18 games is the perfect amount of games with 2 bye weeks, and that the Super Bowl then gets pushed to President's Day weekend, which gives everybody in America the Monday after the Super Bowl off. That's
what they should have been doing decades ago.
I agree with that bit, Brad. Absolutely, they should have. That's it's much like our own in Australia. The NRL, AFL Grand Finals are usually all on the October long weekend. That's it's such a logical thing. You play those things on the Saturday, Sunday of the long weekend. Everyone gets extra days off, and it makes it a huge event. So, not that the Super Bowl isn't already a huge event, but it would be massive if everyone gets a Monday off for President's Day weekend. And the international thing with everyone playing internationally, a lot of Americans I see on Twitter, X, blow up about all these international games, which we'll talk about in a little bit too, the international slate for this season. But the thing is with these international games, all of them only involve teams that have the extra home game because of the way the schedule lines up. So they still retain their actual even number of home away games. Yeah, but that's a great point. It's the teams that have the extra one because of the way the divisions move around every year.
Great point. Yeah. Yep.
So all these Americans blowing guns, we're losing games. No, you're not actually. You're still paying for the same amount of games. You're losing the thing that you would have been given for free. Game. Yep. So you're not getting the thing. And the thing that you only get every 4 years for free too, by the way. Like not every... So... Right. Oh, well, speaking of schedule stuff, let's just jump through a bit of schedule. Of course, the NFL schedule came out. There's been a lot of talk about it from everywhere, everyone. So I thought we might just run through the first couple of weeks of the NFL schedule and just see who's matching up against who. So let's go to week 1 of the NFL schedule. We start out the week with our Super Bowl rematch. It's not often. You always get the Super Bowl winner in the first game of the NFL season. There's not many years where you end up being able to schedule a Super Bowl rematch legitimately at the start of a season. This year is one because the Patriots and the Seahawks will play each other for so their divisions play each other this year. So we end up with the Pats going to Seattle on Banner Day to hang that Super Bowl banner.
It's what a absolute just kick in the nuts. I mean, you got
punishing Vrabel for this thing with Rossini. 100%.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, it's just, I mean, to get just, spanked in the Super Bowl and then to have to go to Seattle to watch them raise the flag. It's going to piss you off like nothing else. So
it sure is.
But you know what? Hey, win the game and you don't got that problem.
So. Correct. So that's the first game of the weekend. Then the second game of the weekend, of course, is the Australia game. The 49ers and Rams coming down under to play at the MCG, possibly the worst ground to play an NFL game at ever. But that is going to be an amazing spectacle for all Australian audiences and for Americans to see what a real country looks like.
Jeez, you didn't just say that. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild one. Go ahead.
SoFi South still. Technically,
it will.
Still going to be SoFi South. Don't worry, there'll still be more of us there.
Just without the millions of homeless people.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I applaud them for having such a key divisional matchup first week of the season and international. So what is that? That's Wednesday in America, Thursday in America. So we're getting Thursday here, Friday here. Games. So it's that first weekend we're gonna get some really, really good games. And then we closing it out with is it Sunday Night Football? Chiefs versus Denver.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football is Sunday Night Football is your Cowboys taking on the Giants, Brad.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Okay.
So yes, then we get to the Sunday slate of games where we get to hear Scott Hansen say those famous words for the first time for the 2026 season as we dive into Red Zone. Let's just quickly run through these matchups. Bucks versus Bengals, Saints, Lions, Jets, Titans, Ravens, Colts, Falcons, Steelers, Bears, Panthers. That'll be interesting. Browns, Jags. Buffalo take on Houston.
That's going to be a good matchup.
That will be a good one to finish out the early slate of games. Miami and the Raiders. So the Dolphins and Raiders. It's the battle of the toilet bowl straight up. Packers at Minnesota, which will be very interesting for sort of early NFC North dominance to see who's going to come out there. As will be Commanders and Eagles. And then we got the Cardinals and the Chargers. And yes, Brad, your Cowboys against the New York Giants.
Jeez, look at that line for the Chargers versus Arizona. $1.18. I'm sorry, this is the NFL. I don't care if they're huge favorites. I'm not taking a bet for only winning 18 cents. Sorry, not in the NFL. That's
He's taking the points.
That's
taking the points.
Ridiculous.
And then we end up.
It's the end of May. We're already taking points.
Then we'll finish out. Week 1 with Monday Night Football. What a matchup! The Broncos at Kansas City.
Yeah. That's gonna be a good one. Is Mahomes gonna be back?
Yeah, that's the big question, Brad.
Yeah.
Are we going to see Patrick Mahomes week 1? Righto, week 2, real quick. We start off week 2 with Lions at Buffalo. Whoa, what a matchup.
Yeah.
Highmark Stadium gets its brand new opening game with the Detroit Lions against the Buffalo Bills.
Already the Thursday night schedule is better than it ever has been.
Yeah, correct.
With that.
And then some interesting matchups. Some interesting matchups for Sunday Night Football. Again, Vikings at Bears. Wow, that's going to be very interesting straight up. What were some of the others that I was sort of noticing as I was going down a list the other day?
Like Jacksonville at Denver. That's going to be
Broncos.
a good one. Indy KC. I think that Indy KC matchup will be really good because didn't that game they went into overtime? I think last time they played, and people forget Indy started 8-2 last season, and then they fell apart. So, and I think that was the game when Daniel Jones broke his leg against KC. So, that I think that'll be a really interesting game.
How about Bengals at Texans, Brad?
No.
The league, come on, Brad. The league's best offense against the league's best defense, Brad. It's going to be
You just watch
insane.
one side, and then you just go and do whatever on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we finish off week 2 with Monday Night Football, Giants at Rams with that horrible new Rams logo. So that's week 1 and 2. Going to be very interesting first couple of weeks. And I guess if you're one of those teams there that has those sort of iffy games, you want to win a couple of those because you don't want to get to. I don't think you don't want to get to week 3 at 0-2 because the possibility of leaving week 3 at 0-3, no team has ever come back from that to end up in a Super Bowl. So hope's dashed straight away.
Just ask the Bengals how tough that is.
All right, we spoke about international games earlier, so let's just go through that international games. Week 1 in Australia, of course, Rams, 49ers. Week 3, we go to Brazil for Cowboys and Ravens in Brazil. Brad, how do you reckon the Cowboys are going to travel? Jerry Jones in Brazil.
Oh,
Good
please. Jeez. Yeah.
Is it Mardi Gras?
Every day is Mardi Gras if you're Jerry Jones. Yeah, that's going to be a great matchup. It'll be and they'll be going nuts there in Brazil. Just Brazilian fans are just next level. So that'll be an amazing atmosphere. It'll be fun to watch. I would if I had to choose. Well, we haven't gone through.
No, we'll go through. So week 4, we go to London for the first time. Colts and Commanders. So we give London a soft opening for their schedule this year. Then week 5, Eagles versus Jags. Jags for the first of their 2 weeks. Then they've got the Texans in London for the second of their 2 weeks. So the Jags stay in London and get the Eagles and the Texans in back-to-back games.
Oh, yeah.
But,
That's probably the toughest 2-game stretch that they've had in London probably ever. Really, you think about it.
That's a great. Those last 2 weeks in London are great games, I think.
Yeah. And how good's that Pats Lions game in Germany?
Yep.
So here's the question.
Well, and then sorry, week 7 in France, we got Steelers and the Saints. Yeah. Week 9 in Spain, Bengals, Falcons. Ooh, that's poo-poo in Spain. And yet, yes, week 10, Pats, Lions in Germany. And then week 11, Mexico City, the Vikings and the 49ers. We're going to have to get very Mexican for that week, Nick.
Nice. So if you had to choose as a fan, if the NFL you won a contest and said, we'll fly you to any of these international games, you choose, which one would you go to? I know for me.
Going to it.
Well,
I'm already going to it, so I'll say the other game we're in Mexico City.
You are. I'll go to Mexico because I really like tequila, Brad.
Okay. I'd go to the Brazil game, not just because it's the Cowboys, but just because I think that atmosphere is going to be so just insane.
I reckon Brazil would be fun as an atmosphere for sure. As with Mexico, I think the atmosphere in Mexico is good. It's just the field qualities in Mexico.
Well, that's why they pulled it out, is because of that.
Yeah, so hopefully they've done a lot of work with Mexico City in terms of upgrading their fields. Otherwise, by week 11, we're going to have a lot of broken 49ers.
Yeah.
We're sending the league's most injury-prone team to the worst field we've ever seen.
Oh gosh!
And that's including the Oakland Raiders field from years ago.
Yeah, right. You're exactly right.
All right. Thanksgiving, one of the best Thanksgiving slates I have ever seen as an NFL fan. Packers at Rams on Thanksgiving Eve. Righto. But Thanksgiving Day, Bears at Lions, Eagles at Cowboys, and Bills at Chiefs. If these 6 teams on Thanksgiving Day are all doing what they're supposed to be doing by the time we get to Thanksgiving, Brad, that Thanksgiving Day slate is going to be phenomenal.
The single best 4-block game that I've ever seen.
This will be the best week of football we will ever have seen. Screw every other game.
Yeah. I mean, odds are a couple of these teams are going to end up duds. So probably, but on paper, right now, absolutely, hands down, the best. So yeah, I just thank goodness I am taking that day off. I can guarantee you that, because it's you got Thanksgiving Eve, and then it's just phenomenal.
What happens on Thanksgiving Eve, Brad?
Really nothing. Thanksgiving Eve is just basically you're just setting up for Thanksgiving. So there is no particular, I mean, some families might have some of their individual traditions, but really it's just, you're setting the table, you're making sure you've got everything that you need to. You might be running to the stores are packed, I'll tell you that, just with food flying off the shelves. But in terms of the NFL, smart, because they're going to turn Thanksgiving Eve into a holiday,
Yeah.
into a tradition. And they're just absolutely brilliant at this stuff. So
what do we got? Friday, November 27th in Australia is Thanksgiving. I'm going to
Yep.
mark that in the calendar. I'm going to find
Okay, so that's designed.
I'm going to find a cheap flight to Brisbane.
Yes.
To Brisbane, Australia, and I'm going to spend 12 hours watching football with Brad.
We got a spare bedroom. We'll put you out. Absolutely.
I've heard about
there's cowboy stuff in there.
I heard about what you cook. I heard about what you cook at Thanksgiving too, Brad. So.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend Thanksgiving with some Americans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get you loaded up on tryptophan from the turkey. And,
I love a good turkey.
You can take
it's nothing better than a good turkey and gravy roll, Brad.
No, absolutely.
All right, Christmas. Christmas Eve, we get Texans at Eagles, and then we get a Christmas triple header. So here, thank God, is Boxing Day in Australia. We get Packers at Bears, Bills at Broncos, Rams at Seahawks. The NFL have absolutely hit that Thanksgiving Christmas double out of the park this year.
Yeah. It's just a bevy of goodness coming at you. I'm just looking at that, salivating, going, yeah, which one do I choose? All of them are good games. That Packers-Bears game, I think, is going to be an intense one. But
finishing Christmas with Rams-Seahawks.
Yeah.
Those Rams-Seahawks games last year were unreal.
Oh, they were amazing. And if it's half as good as they were last, I just can't see Seattle being as good. But still, it would just be, it'd be phenomenal.
The only worrying team in both of these Thanksgiving and Christmas slates to me is the Packers. That's the only one that I look at and I go, oh, how could that be? But I don't know. Well, guess we're going to see. But I tell you what, getting up early on Christmas Day here and watching Texans and Eagles and telling my kids we're not opening a single present until the football's over. Yeah.
Your present is you get to watch the Texans versus the Eagles. Now shut up.
Yeah.
So, unreal. That's what we got in the highlights for the schedule. Of obviously, there's way more out there. We got to figure out. We got to sit down and we got to put our 4 collective heads together here on G'day Gridiron and figure out what we're going to do for this coming season in terms of how we structure our show. Last year, we were picking a few games out and we were previewing some of the majors, and we had the reaction show the Tuesday after the weekend, and did a preview of Thursday Night Football. If you listen to all that stuff and you like the way we did that, let us know. If you've got any other suggestions on what you'd like to hear each week, let us know, because we've got to do some planning and figure out what we're going to do, because these schedules are looking amazing. They're getting better and better. So we just want to bring some good quality content to you. So hopefully you've had fun catching up with us on some news this evening, and going through those schedule bits. Had a bit of a laugh, and everyone can go about their day and catch up with us on socials at G'day Gridiron, Facebook and Instagram, and you will find everybody else from the Aussie Gridiron Network, including the boys at the Aussie NFL Supercoach show, or Linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. You'll find all that stuff there. Till next week, when we figure out what we're talking about then, see you later.